Hi, my name is Franciria Moore with the Prosperity Agenda. Welcome to Coaching Up Close, our mini webinar series designed to work some quick tips into your busy schedule to help you improve your coaching skills. But first, let me introduce TPA. We are working to end persistent poverty, changing the way we think about, build programs for, and coach families under financial stress. Coaching, of course, is a huge part of our DNA, and we work with organizations all over the country on their coaching programs. Before we jump in, if you are joining us live, we'll be having a question and answer session at the end of the webinar, so save your questions or just go ahead and put them in the chat box as we're discussing things. Now, let's get started with today's session on coaching curiosity. Before I jump into what I have to say about curiosity and coaching, I would like to propose a question. The question is, and if you can answer in the chat box, just go ahead and select all panelists and attendees when you type in your answer. But I'd like to hear from you about some of the things that you have heard or some of the things that you believe about curiosity. So we're not going to take a whole lot of time, but let me just hear from you all about what you've heard about curiosity, the place of curiosity. Does it have a negative or positive connotation for you? And just make sure that you switch yours to all panelists and attendees so that we can see your answers. I'll give it a few seconds. Maybe I should give you all some Jeopardy music. Okay, I won't do that. Curiosity didn't bode well for the cat. That's a good way of saying it. Thank you, Devin. Hi, Devin. Myth that some people are curious and others just aren't. Okay. It did not actually kill the cat. It helped me learn more about the family. Okay, thank you for that. Caring about the other person is curiosity. I use the idea of compassionate curiosity. This is from Scott. I use the idea of compassionate curiosity and a way to approach individuals. Beautiful. Yes. Adrian, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Curiosity involves a desire to learn about the other without attachment to what you find out. That's very true. That's very true. That's what we hope happens with curiosity. Anna shared that it is to wonder and investigate. Absolutely. Curiosity this is Myra. Curiosity helps me to learn about who is in front of me and is also my go-to icebreaker. Ooh, that's a great way to look at that. Darcy says, listening to what is important in the conversation, pick out the bits that are not fully disclosed by asking questions. Great, it's a great filler, that's true. Tiffany, hi Tiffany, hi. Tiffany says explores and learns from a place of really caring. That's very true. Curiosity from Katie, curiosity opens the door to many different opportunities. Very true. Okay, keep those rolling in. We're going to go ahead and dive into some of the points that I have for you. But all of these things are absolutely true about curiosity. I know that I heard curiosity killed the cat. I know that in my curiosity, I was sometimes called inquisitive. And as a child, I didn't quite know what that meant, but I felt that it was something negative. Many times a word, it falls victim to its connotations. And so as we're talking about curiosity, for those that may have a negative connotation that follows curiosity, I'd like to challenge you to think about curiosity as a tool. As many of the people in this webinar have expressed, it is absolutely a tool and a major asset in helping participants discover their own answers. Remember that the coaching approach is built on the premise that participants have their own answers. And so the only way that you can get to the participants' answers, because you recognize that a participant is an expert or is the expert in their own life, the only way to get there is through curious coaching. To again approach things from not a judgmental standpoint, but from a place of truly wanting to understand and hear the values and beliefs and goals of the participant in front of you. Approaching your coaching session with curiosity also allows you as a coach to let go of what you think you know and to find out what is really going on with the participant. So curiosity shows up in many ways throughout coaching. But the power of curiosity from the standpoint of the coach is that it helps you check your own bias. It helps you make sure that you're not leading the session based off of past experiences with participants or past experiences from your personal life. And it makes sure that you are not leading the session through assumptions. You know, we don't want to assume that we know anything, but we want to make sure that we are curiously asking powerful questions. So powerful questions is one of the core 4 tools in coaching that we discuss here. You can find a video about powerful questions on our YouTube page. You can check that out at the Prosperity Agenda's YouTube page. We have a full webinar about powerful questions, but powerful questions should be asked in curiosity to gather information and to deepen the participants' self-awareness. So again, in order to be curious when asking powerful questions, we're not asking curious questions that only seek to give us information in a one-sided, one-way street type of direction, but we're asking questions and curiosity, not only so we could gain more information, but so that the participant could open up their mind and maybe see a new way of looking at things or consider something that they hadn't previously thought about. Another place that curiosity comes up in coaching is listening reflectively. When we're listening reflectively, we're really listening for the values and the goals because we're curious. Okay, because tell me more about that. Would you mind expounding on that? I heard you say this. Does that mean this thing? You're asking from a pure place of, I really genuinely want to get to know you. One of my favorite things to do, and I'm a little bit of a dork, I'll admit that, one of my favorite things to do in the whole world is get to know people. And sometimes that can be it could be a bit overwhelming for folks that don't know me, but I enjoy watching people just be people. So sometimes I'll pick a spot in the mall and I'll just sit there and I'll just watch people go by. When I go to a foreign country and I travel, I just like to people watch because I am very curious about how people interact with one another. I'm doing that not from a place of judgment of those people, but from a place of pure curiosity. Another place where we see curiosity pop up in coaching is when we are holding the focus of a session. This is, again, one of our core 4 tools or skills as a coach. When we're holding the focus of a session, we're doing that because we respect what we have the opportunity to discover with our participant during this time. And so in order to respect that, the mining of new information, we have to have curiosity. We have to be curious, again, about what this participant might reveal to us that may be able to help us help them. Or that may be revealed so that the participant can indeed help themselves. Because I don't know about you, but there have been many of times where I've just been talking, and I thought I had a problem, and before I got done, I had given myself the answer. If you are in a place of curiosity as a coach, hopefully your questions and the conversations that you're having are raising that participant's level of self-awareness so that they can get to a point where they have a realization, and hopefully that could happen in your session, or that may happen after. And then the last place that, not the last place, but one of the last places that I would like to bring up for you in this webinar that curiosity comes up is when we go to share information, explore options, and plan. Those are the 3 roles of a coach. When you're taking on any of those roles, whether we're sharing information, we're planning something, or we're exploring options, all of those things should be done as you're navigating through curiosity. Okay? Not being married to or beholden to one specific type of approach with your participant, but also being willing to explore other roles that you could play, being curious in the way that you approach your work with the participant. Now, I do want to say this as I begin to wrap things up. There is a major difference. There is a major difference between being curious and being nosy. That's right, nosy. Anybody know a nosy Rosie? Anybody ever been a nosy Rosie? I'll tell you the number one way that you can know if you're jumping into the nosy Rosie, or one guaranteed way to make sure that a person feels like you're being nosy by your questions or your interactions, and not necessarily that you're exploring or seeking to get to know them better. And that's when you ask lines of questions that don't seek to, again, deepen the participants' awareness of themselves, but seems to only be a one-way street where they're giving you information about them and nothing more. There's not a deepening of the relationship. There isn't a deepening of the trust. But again, this is a one-way. I ask the questions, you give the answers. It tends to feel like an interrogation, and that can quickly shut a participant down. It is important that as you are approaching things with curiosity, that you're also working to be transparent, that you're also working to be honest, that you're also working to be responsive and respectful of the boundaries that participants may have. And one of the best ways that I could suggest to you quickly on this webinar is to simply do the last of the core four, which is asking permission. By asking permission before you proceed into a new line of questions or conversation, you can avoid crossing a line from a great professional interaction into an unprofessional or intrusive conversation. Okay, so by simply asking for permission to go deeper with a participant about a particular thing, that is one major easy way for you to avoid crossing that line into intrusive, nosy conversation. Okay. I want to give to you really quickly 4 benefits of curious coaching. Okay. The first benefit is it's a more productive session as the client drives the conversation. In coaching, in family-centered coaching particularly, we truly believe that clients have their own answers, and that clients, as much as possible, should be in the driver's seat of what is happening in their coaching session and what is happening in their lives in general. Okay. Being curious, being a curious coach allows for there to be more productivity, because we're not wasting time with the coach trying to figure out where we're going, because we are going to give that responsibility to the client. Number 2, it is a surefire way to move into what I like to call effective brainstorming. I love a good brainstorming session because nothing is off limits. I mean, I put everything on the board. I'm kind of like House. If you remember the show House, I just write everything out and I go crazy, and nothing's too big and nothing's too small. Being curious, well, what happens if we do that? And then we write that out. Well, what if that doesn't go right? Then we write that out. Curiosity could really bolster those brainstorming sessions, and you can really figure out a lot of solutions that you may not have thought about at first glance because you were curious. Number 3, it builds trust and it views the family as the expert. Curiosity in coaching will more times than not put you in a place with the family where they feel heard, they feel respected, and they understand that you believe that they are the expert for their family. And then the last one is, number 4, is it creates an accepting environment free of assumptions and judgments. Some people who commented during our live just now made sure that they let us know that judgment cannot be anywhere present during a curious conversation or a curious coaching session, because that is one of the easiest, most typical ways to shut a participant down, where they don't feel safe disclosing to you what their values are and where they like to be. And so those are some of the benefits of being a curious coach. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Join us next month for more coaching tips and resources. And be sure to stick around for our question and answers portion. And of course, if you have any questions about our coaching training program, or you would like to sign up for the next Coaching Up Close mini webinar, visit theprosperityagenda.org. Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you next month.